John McCain has taken a lot of heat from the Donald over the past couple weeks. For, you know, the Donald has said that he's not a real hero. The Donald said that because he was a prisoner, that's not what you would call a hero. This has everything to do with the fact that Donald Trump has some serious, I think he needs to go to counseling. I would call it some mommy issues, maybe some daddy issues, because people in the Republican Party don't like him. So he decides he's just going to lash out and blame it on old Grandpa McCain. Funny, but not really that funny. So that's either here nor there. So Senator John McCain took the high road this past Monday, saying that Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump does not owe him an apology. He went on to say that Trump owes an apology to the families of those who sacrificed in conflict and those who undergo a prison experience in serving their country. And he goes on further to say in the interview that the greatest honor of my life was to serve in the company of heroes. And I am not a hero, he said. And here's the thing. Now, like I said, I think Donald Trump is an asshole and has some serious mommy, daddy, maybe some abandonment issues going on. Needs to see Dr. Phil ASAP. But that does not remove from the fact that you just can't go around saying like evil things about, you know, John McCain. I don't like John McCain. I really don't like any of his politics at all. I disagree with John McCain on fundamentally everything. Yeah, that's about right. I disagree with John McCain on fundamentally everything. Right? But it doesn't take away from the fact that John McCain is indeed an American hero. He has protected and served in our country. He went to Vietnam, and when in Vietnam, he was captured by POWs and ended up being in a prison camp for a really long time. He screwed his arm up. He came back to America after all of that, and still served the United States Senate. You know, whether we like it or not, he's a hero. You might disagree with him on 90% of his politics, but the guy's a hero, and he should be treated as such. It's just my personal opinion on that, but that's neither here nor there. The Donald is clearly lashing out. His Republican colleagues in the running for president have, you know, been really, they've been harsh on the Donald on this one. They've really slammed him for a lot of these comments. And, you know, here's the funny part. If you're a progressive out there, now it's really bad. Like, you should never, ever, 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 ever dishonor the legacy of our veterans. But with that being said, the irony here is that Republicans, right, they like to bash and criticize Democrats, right? But now that they have a crazy train running through their party like Donald Trump, who is #1 in the polls, they're all doing everything in their power to muzzle him as fast as possible, right? And but the truth of the matter is that the Republican Party seems to like him. The people they're polling, the likely voters who are Republican, love the Donald. And that spells trouble for the Republican Party, because they have to find a way to identify with the crazy the crazy right fringe of their party. And that I don't think they're going to be able to do unless they get crazy. And the farther right they go, the harder time they have coming back to the center. See what I'm saying, America? Yeah, you got it. And to make matters worse, in a recent article written by my good friend Kevin Cirilli at The Hill, we learned even more information about the Donald. Donald Trump says that there's a chance he will launch a third-party campaign for the White House, and and he says the reason why is because he thinks the Republican National Committee is unfair to him, has been unfair to him throughout this entire primary season. The RNC has not been very supportive, he said in an interview with The Hill. They were always supportive when I was a contributor. I was their fair-haired boy, the business mogul told The Hill. And he went on to say, but now the RNC thinks that, they think I'm foolish, and that's very foolish of them to think that way. And he says, and if worse comes to worse, Reince Priebus has a bigger problem on his hands because I plan on running as a third-party candidate for President of the United States. He goes on to say, this is my favorite quote, "I'm not in the gang. I'm not in the group where the group does whatever it's supposed to do," he said. "I want to do what's right for this country, not what's right for special interests that contribute, not what's good for lobbyists and the donors." So the Donald could run as a third-party candidate. Now here is the crazy part, right? If the Donald decides to run as a third-party candidate, do you guys remember the 1992 election where we had a candidate by the name of Ross Perot, who ran as a third-party candidate. And because he ran as a third-party candidate, he basically destroyed any chance of George H.W. Bush winning a second term. If Donald Trump runs, this is the nail in the coffin for the Republican Party if he runs as a third-party candidate. Because he will find a way to talk to the far right fringe, which could be trouble. It could spell trouble.